favorite songs. And actually, I became aware of it. It's an old song, as you probably know, but I became aware of it through my nephew Aidan, who's a terrific musician, wonderful guitar player, and he had to do it years ago for a high school piece. And I thought, and then I heard James Taylor's version, of course, and I thought, where have I been? And then I heard it the other day on my favorite program, and the only thing that I've been able to really watch during the pandemic, called The Midwife, and with an E. And anything, I can barely make it through the Hallmark movies. I can suspend reality just for so long, and then I gotta say, look, because it's the same story. I'm astonished. I know the drill now. Okay, she comes to town. She's from New York. She's got a job. This is her hometown. A hunky guy from high school who just happens to be single. So it works clearly, and people love it. And I was watching. I have a favorite comic. I have many favorite comics. I watch YouTube videos of my favorite comedians. Sebastian Maniscalco is probably one of the funniest comedians I know, but he has a podcast with Pete, I forget the guy's name. It's Pete and Sebastian is their podcast. But his cohort was talking about watching the Hallmark movies, and of course, everybody loves to roll their eyes and they're so corny, but, and my friend Mimi says her husband is more of a fan than she is, and I'm like, see, men are so much more romantic than women, but he was saying he was so surprised when at the end, like a little tear showed up, and he was like, what? He was completely pulled in. So I said earlier, that when Wendy said, what's the name of your talk? The Sunday after Christmas, and I go, gosh, it's the next day. And all that could pop into my head was my father's expression, nothing's over like Christmas. That he would always say, December 26th or Christmas night, So true, but I thought, I can't call it. It's over like Christmas, that's a little too much. Even for unity, we want to keep it somewhat sacred and uplifting. But I think the same could be said of a graduation or a wedding or a promotion. There's such a buildup. And then I thought, oh my gosh, there's been this terrific buildup that is staying here. It's like every day. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been waking up in the middle of the night. Anybody else have that experience? Thank you. I love not being alone with that. And my mind is so far in the future. And so what I know is, if I'm in the past, that causes depression. If I'm in the future, that causes anxiety. Being in the present moment, or as our Buddhist brothers and sisters say, be where your hands are, is so difficult. But I also noticed something really interesting. I'm awake, and I'm awake. And I'm not afraid, but my mind is really going. And I've been, I have the app. I can endorse that. I can endorse this. The Tapping Solution. Anybody else have that app on their phone? Oh my gosh. Nick Ordner and his sister Jessica, fantastic meditations, tapping meditations. Highly recommend. So I do them a couple times. So I do them if I wake up, and they really help. There's also I've also got Insight Timer, and there's a magnificent meditation before sleep called Gateway to Sleep. Tony, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, Tony, but I hope a million people will come and listen to your meditation, sleep meditation. He has the most fabulous brogue I've ever heard. It is, you know, they say the Irish, you know, could tell you to go to the hot place so beautifully that you look forward to the trip, you know. Or they can insult you and you think, well, I guess I am a bit of a horse's, you know, like. Because it's so lovely. His brogue is so lovely and very soothing, and he reminds me to just let it go. I'm powerless over what's going on. I don't like that. I want to have something for my wand to do, but my wand is broken. My wand is completely useless now. I don't like that. I don't know anybody that likes that. I can't control this. I can't, you know, but I can control this. But not always. At 3:30 a.m., this has a complete mind of its own. So, in the coming month, in January, we're closing down the year. It's been another wonky one. I've had to really change, you know, a lot. We've all had to change a lot. What I'm thinking, what I'm watching, what I'm saying, the music I'm listening to, and this is really taking all the faith, you know, I think we've got, and that's what faith is. This is what faith is for. This is the time that faith is for. So in the coming month, we're going to be focusing on vision, a new vision for our lives, for Unity Northwest Church, and hopefully for our communities. Because I was shocked once when one of my teachers started his lesson with, "You do not have a soul." What?
Yeah.
And then he went on to say, "You are a soul." Oh, that one little word. I don't have a soul. I am a soul. You don't have a soul. You are a soul that has always been and will always be. Is that what Jesus meant when he said, after he said, "I am the light of the world"? I'm like, no problem. That's a big gig. You take that, Jesus, because you're good at that. You know, just like your chaplains are good at praying, and amen. Jesus was good at being the light of the world. And he was not a popular guy. He was a rebel, but he was the light of the world. But then when he said, "You are the light of the world," I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That sounds like a bigger gig than I can do or that I want. So in January, I think taking a month to vision is one of the most abundant things we can do. Because I don't know about you, but it's been hurry up, hurry up. Where am I going? You know, and the 5 curses, one of my other teachers told me about the 5 curses, which are hurry up, try harder, the first one is be perfect. Be perfect, hurry up, try harder, put others' needs before your own. That was a big one growing up for us Catholic school kids. Always take the smaller piece. Always take, you know, give you milk money, you know, for listen, they did the best they could, and it was like, here's all we have. I'm sorry. Here's what we got, and now we're going to give it to you, and let's see what you can do with it. But be perfect, try harder, hurry up, put others' needs before your own, and be strong. No. No, I don't wanna. I don't wanna try harder anymore. I've tried so hard. Okay, now, ha. Oh my God, it's exhausting, yes? Yeah, we can't do any of that anyway. So I think taking a month to ask, and we'll go over these, of course, in January, but what is God's highest vision for my life, for my career, for my health, for my church, for my community? What's God's highest vision? What are the God qualities I want to see present? You know, one of the God qualities is lightheartedness. Is it okay to get back to that? Well, yeah, somehow, some way. And I love comedians because they tell the truth, and that's funny. The truth is over time. Some of the stuff is not, we're not ready yet for some things to be funny. And then the next question is, what must I let go of in order to have, what must I release in order to have this vision? And for me, it's like all the old thinking. What I think is I should have, or it should be. How I think it should be. You guys, God has an infinitely better imagination than I do. I am so grateful for that. I am so grateful God has an infinitely more fantastic imagination. And always has a better plan. But I need to move in that direction. That's also, I think, faith. Is to, move in the direction I think I'm supposed to go. He'll let me know. It'll let me know when I need to change course. And that's soul work. Because my soul always knows. Your soul always knows what it's doing. Your body always knows what it's doing. What it's doing to heal, what it's doing to stay okay, your body. But I've come to mistrust. There's, trust is a huge issue in faith. Of course, that's all faith is trusting. Trusting a higher power, trusting a better way. But making the beginning, taking the action. Life rewards action. The universe rewards action. I think the universe goes, well, look who's getting so busy here. Moving in that direction, we'll just angel. I was talking about angels the other night. I have the best angels in the world. Not just parking angels. My son thanked me yesterday for, he said, oh my gosh, my friend says, like, what's with you getting rock star parking everywhere? He goes, parking angels. I'm like, that's my kid. When you hear something that you've told your child coming back at you, that's like it goes right there, doesn't it? It's like, oh, yeah. So, then the next question is, what must I release? What must I embrace? What must I release? All the old thinking. And then the last question, envisioning, is there anything else? And that is a very charged question for me, because that's the one that comes up when I think I got this. And sometimes I do. Sometimes my will and God's will are in alignment. That's cool. Who of us have had that experience where it's like, oh yeah, I just sort of followed direction and it worked out. Maybe not in totally in the way that I thought. But, so the soul knows. The soul knows. So we'll be talking about that next month also. But in preparation for visioning, I must clear away the wreckage of the past. That's one of the things I have to let go. I told this joke a couple weeks ago. How many folk singers does it take to put in a light bulb, change a light bulb? 6. 1 to actually change the bulb, and the other 5 to talk about how great the old one was. Attachment. Also, our lovely Buddhist teachers tell us that causes suffering. is holding on so tightly to what I think it should be, how it's always been. That's the way we've always done it. This past month, nothing has been the way we've always done. I used to sit there, I used to come up here and I would do the songs and then I would go and sit down, and now I'm here and this is different. This is different. And it's changed. And sometimes we forget to pray in, and I want to pray with the chaplains, and I want to thank them for being there. And if you have not availed yourself of prayer, Unity was built on prayer. Unity School of Practical Christianity started in the living room of Myrtle and Charles Fillmore as a prayer ministry. Myrtle and Charles Fillmore healed themselves, she of tuberculosis, he of a leg that was almost half a foot shorter and that had grown. Remarkable work. Not easy. Not easy. Charles Fillmore said if he were going to call Unity anything else, he would have called it change. He would have his wish true in 2021. Soon to be 2022. Does that blow anybody's mind? It's like 2022. Why isn't George Jetson in his little, private going by my window every day? 2022, it's remarkable. So I was thinking about waking up and the mind and the trying to figure it out and the fear of what am I gonna get it and who's got it? My son gave me tests for Christmas. I'm like, thank you. And I love this, and this story came to mind. It's the one of Jacob. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he struck him on the hip socket. Well, that's kind of specific for the Bible. The hip socket. Hips move us forward, move us back. Support, stability, change. And Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Anybody else feel like their security has been pulled out of joint? Then he said, "Let me go, for the day is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." Then he said, "You shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with humans and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked him, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And there he blessed him. Genesis 32:24 through 29. Now, I've always been intrigued by this story, and you guys, I didn't have a whole lot of Bible training as a kid, but I've heard this story, and I'm like, first off, it's confusing. Who's talking to who? Who's the angel? Who's the man? Who's Jacob? It's all Jacob. It's all me. I've said before also, it's like that horror movie in my head where it's like, the call's coming from inside the house, get out! Don't go there. And that takes so much work to not go there. Some friends of mine say, don't go in there alone. It's a dangerous neighborhood. It's dark, it's scary. Shine the light, go with someone, go with support, go with an angel. And stop fighting it. Stop, because I know it's whenever I say, I gotta figure this out, I'm a goner. Drop the mic, you're done. There's no figuring this out. And that's unbelievable to me. I think that's especially unbelievable to those of us who are like, my thoughts are prayers, and I'm thinking the good ones, and I'm ready to go. And remember when you first came into Unity, and you were like, manifestation, bibbity bobbity boo, yeah, I want a new car, yeah, I got a new car, and wee, this is great. And then you have a bad day, and you're like, hey, what the heck? Again, the broken one. Peaks and valleys. We are in the valley of goo. I realize it, but we're gonna come up. Gotta go here. If I go here, on my own, never good. If I'm banished here, or if I feel banished here, it's not a banishment. It's like, you gotta go here because it's quiet, it's kind of goopy. You're gonna see some stuff that you don't want. And a lot of stuff from the past needs to be cleaned out of here, out of this storage space. We've been keeping it. I don't know why. I know it takes a lot of courage, but it takes courage to look, and I think it takes as much to let go. To say, I've told my story so many times, I'm sick of hearing it myself. I can only imagine. God bless my therapists, my friends, my sponsors, I might be done telling my story. Wow. How does that feel? Well, that's kind of interesting. Who will I be without my story? It's like Byron Katie's questions. Is that true when I tell my story? Is that true? Can I be absolutely sure that's true? How do I feel when I tell that story? Who would I be without that story? That is what I want to vision about. Who am I being called to be in the new world? It's a new world. It's changing incredibly. It's already changed. I can't wrap my head around Bitcoin, and I probably won't. I'm just saying. Cryptocurrency, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm out. I'm still going to use cash. And, I use cash because people in poverty don't have credit cards or debit cards. They have cash. If I give you cash, and also if I give you cash, I'm going to feel that. I'm not going to feel handing you a piece of plastic. Also, a teacher says, arigato, your money. Thank you, money. I always forget to do this, but this holiday season I try to remember. Before handing anyone any exchange, thank you. I have enough. And having enough is abundance. So Jacob's name became Israel, which literally means fights with God. I could be called Israel several times a day. I'm Israel, because I get in my Israel consciousness. I get in my Israel, put 'em up, God. And I'm Irish, I could be that little Notre Dame, guy. Come on. But this year I want to put down my dukes. I want to stop fighting everything and everyone. Just for a day. Just for a day. I don't want to judge what they're telling me on TV. I don't want to judge a Hallmark movie. I just want to enjoy it and just go, oh, okay. Yeah, that could happen. So I'm going to let go of fighting here. And so the upside of waking up at 3:30 is that I get a download. And that's what I think it's for. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'll get back to sleep. I can sleep when I'm, after I make my transition, I'll be sleeping a while. Right now, I'm okay. But I always get a download, and I have a couple sacred texts that I read. And you guys, I always open them to the perfect place. I always open them to the perfect place. It's in play. It's always in play. Your soul is always going to know what to do. It's always going to know where to go, what to do. It's your compass. It's your sacred compass. You're born with it, you know. So I think as we nurture it, that's the gift that gives every day. It just, our soul's always going to take us to the good spot. So I wanted to close with a song. It's so great to be back with Tatiana, who's